and welcome to Michigan Tech Esports. I'm Jake, I go by Scrimby, and I am joined today by...
Coach Isbell.
Yep. Today we have the Michigan Tech Rocket League team kicking off our varsity esports season with a match against Stony Brook. This is going to be an exciting match. Two teams relatively similar in ranks to start here. A lot of mid to high grand champions here, and we're looking forward to hopefully a pretty exciting kickoff match.
So, as you know, Michigan Tech did quite well last spring.
Yeah.
So we're looking for them to continue it. We've definitely picked up some new people in the roster, right? With Cole being replaced by Hunter or Carrot.
Yeah.
And, go ahead.
But yeah, so players who have been in the Michigan Tech esports system for a little bit now, but this is a new starting lineup look for us. Stewie, of course, longtime Michigan Tech esports player, been here longer than I have. So hoping to see another great season from Stewie. Grape has been here for a long time as well. And Carrot, I believe, is this Carrot's first match on the starting roster?
So this is his first match part of Varsity. He was on the JV team last year, so he's moved up. Grape, we've seen him all last year, right? And he's kind of filled into his role. Of course, him replacing Ski Boy from a long time ago, right? And so we're really looking forward to this Michigan Tech team and what they can put out as far as, you know, where they've kind of grown over the summer into their new roles here in fall. Absolutely.
So yeah, this is going to be a great game to see how this team has developed, how this team is going to shake out. We have now a 9-team division in the Playfly Esports Varsity Premier League. It's going to be an 8-week regular season of round-robin matchups, and then the #1 overall seed goes straight to the national playoffs. The 2 and 3 seeds go to a last-chance qualifier, kind of like a wild card round for those of you familiar with other playoff structures. So a lot to fight for here. Starting the season off with a win is big, especially with how big this division is. You want to get to the top and stay there early. So really big best-of-5 matchup here today. And we got to wait on the players to get set up here, but that will hopefully be happening pretty shortly.
So what's really cool about being with Playfly is actually Rocket League seeds right into CECC. So they're actually playing for a chance to go down to Texas in spring and play at the national stage. So you got against teams like Boise State, you got teams against UT Arlington, are all going to be there. And last year when we went with our Smash team, the stage was phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
Right, and the opportunity and getting actually the ability to take your placard and progress it across the tournament as you do well, right?
Yeah, I mean, massive national tournament stages like that. Obviously, competition is super intense. Really big teams that you got to match up against, like Boise State, like you mentioned, is probably on top of the National Rocket League scene right now. But before you get there are a lot of juggernaut teams in the Playfly bracket as well. RIT is the big one that's still in the bracket that comes to mind. 3 SSLs on their roster. Incredible team. That will definitely be the big hurdle, at least in this division, for MTU this semester.
And we also have Fisher as well.
Fisher, last I checked, forfeited out of their games in the Playfly schedule.
Oh, wow.
So I'm not sure what the issue... That may be a temporary thing, but Playfly websites right now says Fisher has forfeited out. So
that's really shocking, but they could be prioritizing other leagues.
Yeah, they could be playing another league to get in to that national playoff down in Texas. We'll have to see what happens there. Looks like we're having some players leave the match here. So
they might be experiencing technical difficulties, but that's really a really great opportunity to kind of talk about either the scale, because even if they don't qualify for CECC, they get a second chance with Playfly's individual competition, which will be at the same location. So still 2 spots, right? 2 national spotlights, right? One being obviously
a little bit brighter, but yeah, definitely. There's still a lot to play for. You don't need to be the top team nationally in this bracket to get all the crazy good rewards or anything like that. There's still a lot to play for. But Michigan Tech, we're going to see if they are ready to make that push and go for that national spot.
Speaking of which, and something we've done over the summer that was really phenomenal, is working with our partner, University Images.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Your main place to get all your Husky gear, but now your location to get the new
Michigan Tech esports jerseys.
Correct.
So, yeah, if you didn't know, University Images is your official headquarters for authentic Michigan Tech Huskies apparel. It's university-owned, university-operated right here in the SDC. Also, if you want to order online, check out bookstore.mtu.edu. Really great place. And now they're carrying some esports gear as well, so definitely go check them out.
And that really plays into our next partner, which I really like, which is Pepsi, right?
Yeah.
Last year, we used to read a lot of Pepsi advertisements, but we had the Mountain Dew logo.
Yeah.
And this is something that plays hard into me as a person, because when I was growing up, I had the old Pepsi logo.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So now we've gone back to the old Pepsi Challenge logo, and I love it.
Yeah, I mean, It's probably that I grew up, in the early aughts, so I missed that like crazy 3D massive ball logo. But it's I don't know. It's like I definitely still have a little bit of that nostalgia kick for that old classic Pepsi logo. Like I
Sure.
saw it all over the place when I was a kid. Still,
And especially in the generation of the Pepsi Challenge or other things like that, Pepsi was huge,
Oh, yeah.
right? The marketing campaigns, everything. So we do have our local sponsor. So
Yeah.
realistically, Pepsi is kind of our big provider. You could see the rock stars
Yeah.
right in front of us.
This is all Pepsi products. But yeah, they've been incredibly helpful for us here at MTU Esports for the past few years now. Whether they want us to, put the Mountain Dew logo or the Pepsi logo out there, but
Sure.
they've been great for us. So yeah.
And that's how we make this possible, right? We're all
course.
here for the student experience. We're all here to elevate our students like Stewie, who's really big into the program. He's been here, he's graduating supposedly this fall.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed, right?
But yeah, I mean,
Because, you're a tech student.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you find, the daily grind of balancing education
Oh,
and
absolutely.
esports and all the other clubs and activities that you're a part of really challenging.
Yeah.
And so we really have to give a big shout out to our players who balance esports, athletics
Yeah.
with academics, with all the other things that are on their plate. It really speaks to their determination and grit, essentially,
Yeah.
of how well they take their craft seriously.
yeah, being a student athlete is one of the biggest commitments that you can take on while pursuing an education at the undergraduate or graduate level. And the fact that all these players are willing to come out here and do it, work their way up through this program, stick around with us for a while, and hopefully contribute to something big, it's really impressive, and it's a compliment to all of them that they're able to stick it out and do all this. So, huge thanks to all of our players, of course, for, giving me a reason to stand in this room and yell at you all. So,
And we got Stewie, right? We got Carrot. We got everyone loading into the server. We've got Grape. Don't forget, and a lot of these individuals played at GLIAC.
yeah.
And they did well. A lot of the comments that we got from them playing at GLIAC were extremely positive.
Yeah.
They went up against some tough schools like GVSU and Purdue.
Yep.
Very big into Rocket League, but we're getting started here.
Yep. Game 1 now underway here in Michigan Tech Rocket League, the first esports event of the year for us here. And it looks like it's going to be for Zai for Stony Brook right now, pushing up. For those of you who don't know, Stony Brook is the team in blue here, Michigan Tech in orange. Jafar going to try to field that ball in the corner, does not make contact. And Salmon going to deflect. Stewie opens the floodgates early, and within 15 seconds, the first goal of the year for the Huskies.
So what I really want to emphasize is, can you explain to us that early kind of kickoff
Yeah.
and why it was significant to Michigan Tech?
So a big part of this game is just positioning and momentum. So on a kickoff like this, so Stony Brook wins that one a little bit, but stays near midfield, so neither team really going to be off to a significant advantage to start here. Both teams have time to get set on offense and defense and try to develop a play. Looks like Stewie quickly going for a follow-up shot, wants to just make me stop talking. But
Michigan
for now,
Tech is playing very aggressive,
Yeah.
and I like it. Their ball possession has been really in the enemy quarter of the field, and
Absolutely.
that speaks volumes for the amount of control they have on the ball.
Stewie double touch great with the follow-up, going to get blocked by Versailles there. Nice save for Stony Brook, keeping Tech out of the goal for now, but playing risky business, leaving the ball in front like that. But on the kickoff, when a ball gets sent to the corner that quickly, immediately it puts the enemy team on awkward footing. Just like that, Carrot making it 2-0 for Michigan Tech. Huskies off to a hot start here. Under a minute played so far, already up 2-0.
And
that
was
is the start you want to see.
That was beautiful positioning.
Yeah.
Right? We have 1 minute, 2 goals. That puts them in a really good place.
Yeah.
And for me, if they get that third goal, that's kind of the nail in the coffin for game 1 at least.
I mean, comebacks like that happen. I've seen 6-goal comebacks before, so let's not get a little bit too far ahead here. But Stewie looking to put on a show. But at this level, the technical skill of all the players is pretty similar in this matchup. They're all in Grand Champ for this match. Stewie is in and out of SSL, but I believe currently is in Grand Champ. But all of these players, they're all very technically strong in this game. So what it is really at this point a mental game of keeping yourself in the game, making sure that you don't make these little mental mistakes, because everybody at this level is good enough to capitalize on them.
Correct.
And keeping that just a little bit of space for one player can be more than enough in the right position to where they will make you pay for it and take a goal immediately. So,
And it could be something so simple as just being a little cold.
Yeah.
Right, not getting a good warm up, and then game one you're getting down one game,
Yeah.
and you kind of have a little bit of a hole to dig yourself out of.
Exactly. And like, I mean, a lot of it is a mental battle where you're going to see players just kind of get stuck in a hole and digging yourself out of that. Like, I mean, the magic of a team timeout in Rocket League between games, I cannot describe it to you.
And then we have another goal for
making it 3-0.
And so, I mean, this is what you like to see out of your Michigan Tech Huskies.
Of course.
Huskies,
Yeah, but
Huskies, but very, very aggressive play, 3-goal lead. And I mean, it's really phenomenal to see all their practice take, make or become successful, right?
Yeah, and I mean, always in week one, a concern is going to be, how much did players stay on top of the ball over the summer? How much did they keep practicing, make sure their skills are still sharp? And right now, the Huskies are showing they put in that extra work. And so far, it's paid off big time here in game one.
Sure. And I mean, that goes back to the student piece where they have internships.
Yeah.
Right? They have all these other things that they have to prioritize and while maintaining good Rocket League skill.
Yeah, they've got a lot on their plate. So, keeping on top of it like this, I mean, Stony Brook is a very solid school. Jafar showing a bit of it right there. The first goal for Stony Brook of the series, going to make it 3-1. And this is just a solo push all the way down the field. Grape is trying to find positioning, but Jafar has a little bit too much boost, plays off the wall well. And Stony Brook trying to start this comeback about halfway through game one.
And Varsity was there with him, right? So if Jafar got blocked, right, they had a great pathway to the goal still.
Yeah.
And so that was a really solid play by Stony Brook.
Yeah.
And
really
they're starting
nice
to come alive in these last 2 minutes.
Yeah, and like I said, sometimes it's you get yourself stuck in this rut, and it's really difficult to get out of this headspace where you can't figure out how to get around the opponent. But sometimes it's just game one, you tell yourself, I just need to warm up. And that's what Stony Brook is trying to tell themselves right now, not let themselves fall into that position. But currently 3-1, Huskies pushing, Grape looking for a setup. Stewie and Carrot not in the position to capitalize there, still would have been a tough shot. A minute 50 to go here in game one.
And realistically, all they have to do is keep possession, play it slow, and run basically down the time, and then they're already into game two, and they're feeling good.
Yeah, 2 goals is the point where you can kill clock. Obviously, if they see an opportunity for another goal, they want to take it, because at this point, 3 goals is generally going to be too much for a comeback. You need to be giving up massive opportunities on defense to let a team come back from something like that or give up a kickoff goal. But so far, the Huskies defense holding strong at midfield. Nice shot there. The follow-up not going to be in time.
And that was a great save by Varsity. Way to be, right? Way to back up our team. And essentially, this is a great game of Rocket League. And I mean, we couldn't hope for a better season opener.
Oh yeah, and these two teams, like I said, they're relatively evenly matched. At least the public ranks are roughly similar. So, this is a really good litmus test for what we're going to see out of Tech Rocket League this year. A lot of similarly ranked teams in this division, especially now with Fisher potentially being out. We'll have to look more into that for you guys as the semester goes, because they are a top contender nationally. So if they chose to drop out of the division, that's big news for Michigan Tech. Makes their climb to the playoffs quite a bit easier.
Well, and not only Michigan Tech, but for every team. But we have 30 seconds left on the clock. We have Stony Brook making a big play here on the field.
Yep, Salmon trying to get in position, but not going to find it there. Grape, deflected by Jafar, but the follow-up by Stewie, not going to be there. Oh, Carrot, excuse me.
Carrot is playing pretty good.
Yeah.
He's playing pretty hot. But I think what we're going to see, or we should see out of Tech a lot of, is kind of defending against those triple commits with the time being at 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at this point, Michigan Tech has this game wrapped up, especially in front of the Stony Brook goal. So they are going to take game one as the clock hits 0 here. It's now impossible for Stony Brook to come back, but even a point for the road here for either team can be a huge momentum shift, just proving to yourself, yeah, we can score in quick time situations. But the ball will drop here. Michigan Tech going to take game one in pretty convincing fashion. Started with a 3-0 run. Stony Brook, a later goal, but not going to be enough to come back from the lead here as the Huskies take game one.
And what I like to see from this scoreboard is, right, we have Carrot and Stewie right neck and neck for score, right? Mm-hmm. Each filling their role very successfully.
Oh, yeah.
And Carrot pulling ahead with a little bit of aggression, right? And being that, getting those 2 goals, no one getting a hat trick.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But we have a total of, I want to say 15 shots on goal on the Michigan Tech, 14 shots on goal on the Michigan Tech side. Thank you. And then just 1 on the case of Stony Brook.
That's the story of this game. It really was the Michigan Tech defense. They only gave up 1 real shot opportunity that entire game. And, I know a 5-minute game seems short, especially if you compare it to soccer or something a team giving up a goal in 5 minutes. That's not good. But in Rocket League, with how small the field is in relative comparison, how fewer players there are. Giving up one actual shot in 5 minutes is incredibly solid defense. So the control at midfield, keeping the pressure on offense, just shut down most offensive opportunities for Stony Brook there. And if Tech can keep that momentum going, they should have no trouble here in games 2 and 3. But we'll see how Stony Brook tries to respond here.
And a quick load into game 2.
Yeah.
I'm sure both teams are kind of chomping at the bit to get in the game and test their mettle.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Stony Brook trying to equalize at that 1-1 scoreline. Michigan Tech looking to expand their lead. So kind of tell me the importance of game 2 when it comes to a series in Rocket League.
Game 2 is massive, especially in a best-of-5 series. Best-of-5 series, first to 3 game wins the series, wins the set match. And this is, going down 2-0 usually is a death sentence for a team in a best-of-5 series. Reverse sweeps happen, but they're rare. Like, going up 2-0 usually means that whichever team is winning the series is just playing better that day. Obviously, there can be really close games, but generally, especially after how Tech won in Game 1 with how much they stifled the Stony Brook offense, if they have a commanding win here in Game 2, they've got to be feeling great going into that third game.
And we see a lot of aggression on the ball from Michigan Tech. And realistically, we see a lot of the same progress we saw from Game 1, where if you keep the ball in your opponent's field, and that was a great attempt by Stewie. It was right there. Unfortunately, we couldn't capitalize on it, but it just seems you get enough chances at their goal. It's bound to go in.
That's for a lot of high octane offenses like Michigan Tech is apparently trying to be this year. It's just taking so many shots that players have to keep flinging themselves at the ball to create saves from the opposite team, and eventually they'll all be out of position and you'll have an empty net. There are teams that have a lot more of like a selective shot process, like GVSU's roster is the team that comes to mind for me like that, where they just play lockdown defense and hope the offense overextends, and then they just pick up the pieces, run the ball to the other side of the court, and score. But Tech so far has just been using ball control like that from Stewie, getting a little mechanical for us here, dodges off the sidewall, pops it right over another Stony Brook player, and then just a beautiful double touch off the sidewall. That is a tight angle to get the ball in for the first goal for Tech,
and that is Stewie. Amazing solo play by Stewie.
Oh, yeah.
Right? To go between 2 defenders. But one thing I've noticed, and this makes it more visually better for the viewer, is that it actually shows their boost above their cars.
Yes, it does. That's a recent patch. I believe it came out in May for Rocket League, so not something we've seen on our broadcast so far. Obviously, since we're spectating, we can see both teams' boost counters over their head, but when you're in the game, you can only see the boost counters for your teammates, so you don't get a competitive advantage of knowing which players have boost on the opposite team. But it's definitely an improvement that I think is pretty significant for Rocket League, especially because a lot of players play without comms. So when you're solo queuing, things like that, this gives you a much better idea of the position that your teammates are in if they're not being as communicative as you wish they were. But halfway through Game 2, Huskies up 1-0. Stewie trying to keep that offensive pressure going. Salmon going to try to send it back the opposite direction, but does not make contact with the ball there, and Stewie sends it right back. Huskies trying to keep that pressure on.
And now this is not the league we saw from Game 1, but we see a lot of time being spent.
Yes.
Which is really important for both teams, right?
Yeah.
Because if they equalize, that gives us a lot less time to respond.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, if we keep the pressure on, it gives us a almost guaranteed Game 2.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, with a 1-score difference, you're probably trying not, like, your main goal is not to kill clock because something can go wrong and all of a sudden it's a tie game and the situation flips on its head. But Tech, right now, with how neutrally split these teams have been on offense in this second game, they're probably not too upset with the idea of letting the clock drop down a little bit, just hoping Stony Brook doesn't find that opportunity. What a save there by Stewie. Salmon had plenty of boost for that aerial play, went for the top left corner, had it in position, but Stewie, beautiful climb up the wall to prevent the goal there, keeping it scoreless for Stony Brook.
And this is really the best Rocket League I've seen in quite a while. Right? It's really, very neutral. Yeah. Teams are, hitting it back to each other. It's very back and forth.
Yes.
And it's really giving, if I was watching this, a great viewer experience.
Yeah.
And 2 really, really, I guess, neutral teams as far as skill.
Absolutely.
Which really makes it a great game to watch.
Yeah, it's something where watching these two teams, I mean, we saw Michigan Tech run away with it early here in game 1, but Stony Brook putting up much more of a fight on offense in this game, too.
And we see Carrot up.
Oh, close shot there. Grape almost got the follow through, but a little bit too much speed there. Solidly defended by Stony Brook, forcing that quick play, and it's going to hit.
And we have a really hard commit by the Michigan Tech team, but nothing to come out of it.
So far, we'll see. All 3 players up for Stony Brook, but nice deflection by Stewie. Sends it behind all 3 of them. Possibly a bit of a chance on offense here. Carrot deflects. Stewie draws a 50 at midfield.
And this is just a really exciting game.
Yeah.
I do see Stony Brook trying to play that 3-man offense. And that was
Close
a really
shot.
close goal by Stewie, or attempt by Stewie. But it's really now or nothing for the Stony Brook side.
Yeah, and this is going to be a pretty quick shot there. Deflected by Grape, but still in front of the goal. Stewie gets the clear. Followed up by Jafar, and Grape sends it to the corner. Final few seconds ticking down. Grape gets a demo. That's huge for the Huskies here. And now just playing a little bit of bully ball, just shoving the opposing players out of the way so they can't get a clean shot. Final few seconds tick down. Ball's in front of the goal. Pops out off the player for Stony Brook.
And that demo was amazing.
That's going to kill it.
And it's going to kill the ball, exactly. And now we have 2-0 for Michigan Tech. And you couldn't get any closer than that.
Yeah, that is going to be, I mean, Michigan Tech got to be happy to walk away with the win there in regulation especially. But, I mean, for the Stony Brook player, I think that was Salmon who had the shot up in the goal. Hit it off the crossbar and deflected out off the top of the car. Sends it out of the goal. That's a tough way to lose game 2.
Now, you got to wonder if the toppers that they have in the cars, I don't think they have
I don't believe they have a hitbox.
They don't have a hitbox, but it would be funny to believe that they do. Like, that's what saved the Michigan Tech squad.
There are teams who get really superstitious about their cars. I've seen teams who have stuff where, like, if they go down 2-0 in a series, they'll all back out of the lobby, switch to the Merc, and join back, and then they'll reverse sweep. It's ridiculous. I've seen crazy stuff like that. But, you know, these games, they're keeping themselves really close. We'll see if Game 3 stays this close. But if you need to be close to campus, we've got places for that. Find the perfect location, live where you want to live. Go check out HoughtonForRent.com if you're looking for a place to stay next year. Their housing applications are going to open pretty soon here, so go check out Bradway Enterprises. Once again, HoughtonForRent.com if you're looking for a place next year.
Now, what's really interesting to me is that everyone's about 40 ping. But then we have 2 Stony Brook players who are actually at 24 ping. And that's really good. That's really good
It's really
ping.
solid ping.
And I'm jealous because when I'm playing Rocket League at home, I'm not at 24 ping. And so it's really phenomenal, the kind of facilities and connections that these players have.
Oh, yeah.
And how universities have really supported them.
Yeah.
Shout out to Stony Brook. I mean, from what I understand, they have a really great facility. We do have kickoff for Game 3.
Yes, we do. But, I mean, the collegiate esports scene is still evolving, and we don't really know how it's going to look long-term with how big schools are going to try to start interacting, because in the early onset of esports, you're seeing a lot of smaller schools trying to make a name for themselves when they really wouldn't be able to generally in athletics. I mean, when you look at, like, you know, SEC schools spending a couple $100 million on football teams every year and stuff like that, like, I mean, spending a good chunk of money still, but on an esports facility, things like that, trying to attract big talent to come play for your school, it's something that's shown itself to be pretty accessible for a lot of smaller schools. And, you know, it's something where Stony Brook and, like, similar schools are finding new ways to get their name out there through esports. And I think it's a really exciting, cool thing.
And it's great for the students, right?
Of course, yeah.
I mean, students like Stewie, like Grape and Carrot, who have been, Carrot not so much, but both Grape and Stewie, who Grape came in here as a freshman.
Yeah.
Right? Stewie, I think he started as a freshman.
I believe so, yeah.
And it's great to see that kind of legacy that they're creating while playing a game that they spend mindless hours around, right? Which is Rocket League. And they're not just sitting in their dorm room playing Rocket League. They're getting something of educational value out of it.
Yeah.
And getting to represent their, you know, future alma mater, which is Michigan Tech.
Yeah. I mean, it's an amazing opportunity for student athletes. I mean, like we said before, it takes a lot of work to cut it as a student athlete at any level of collegiate athletics. But, you know, putting in that extra time and turning something that may have just been a hobby or a passion into something more for a lot of these athletes has been, you know, it's been a privilege to watch all these years, and it's something that I hope continues to get better and better over time. But Carrot trying to get that offensive push going, but defended well.
And this is a great attempt by Grape. He couldn't get the double touch, but great attempt. 3 minutes left on the clock.
Stewie.
Wait
a minute. It's dropping down. Oh!
Stewie almost had it. It was just right there. And great assist by Carrot. He's going to try to keep this drive alive.
Stewie coming back for another double touch, going to be deflected by Jafar. About halfway through game 3, still scoreless. Stony Brook keeping it closer and closer each game. Grape ready for the deflection, but Stewie's going to pick up the save instead and follow through, getting past Salmon. Out of boost, but sends it.
And this is why we love Stewie, because I think Stewie's really hungry right now. He wants to make it 3-0. He wants to, put the work in, get it done, and then be out of the series and on to week 2.
Yeah, and I mean, you love starting a year off with a sweep, but Stewie is one of those players where once he gets hot, he just stays. When he's really getting into the vibe to play Rocket League, you'll see him just do some of the most insane technique plays I've ever seen out of any player at any level. A couple of years ago, I remember, I think it was the Great Lakes Rocket League Championship, where he just kind of put the whole team on his back for a 7-game series against St. Clair. And it's one of the most exciting series I've ever had the opportunity to broadcast. So it's, when he wakes up and is ready to play Rocket League, he's almost always the best player on the pitch.
And that speaks to him as a leader and a captain, because I've seen Grape develop significantly under Stewie.
Yeah, Grape has gotten a lot better recently, and just getting more consistent, but a lot of it is also just building chemistry with your teammates. So getting used to this roster, playing with Stewie and Carrot, it takes time for a player to figure out how players like to attack. Carrot's going to find the goal! 1:17 to go. Michigan Tech first on the board here in Game 3.
And that was a great solo play.
Yep.
Carrot knocked it up and then had no boost, dinged it in.
Perfect shot there, basically undefendable by Stony Brook. And now about 1:20 to play here. Stony Brook needs to answer, needs to do it quickly. Let's see if they can find the Michigan Tech net or if Stewie and company are going to put this game away and secure a sweep in week 1. Stewie drops in front of the Stony Brook goal, nobody ready for the follow-up. Jafar going to send it down the pitch, but doesn't have enough boost to get very far.
And I love it because Stony Brook is not defeated. Right? They're playing this game like it's, they're in the lead for the series. They're hungry. They're trying to make things happen. And this is exciting Rocket League.
Yeah, at this point, it is do or die for Stony Brook. They need to get ahead on this ball. They need to make a play. Like we said, this is Game 3. Michigan Tech won the first 2. So if this clock hits 0 and Stony Brook does not tie this game, it's game over. That ball's set up. Possible shot here for Jafar. Going to play it slow. Look for a dribble move. Carrot drops down. Stewie and Carrot combine for the save. Carrot gets the clear. More time going to get shaved off the clock here. Let's see if Carrot can keep possession here. Dishes it to Stewie. What a shot! Deflected by Jafar. 24 seconds to go.
And this is exactly what you want to see out of Michigan Tech.
Absolutely.
20 seconds left, keeping it hopefully in their half of the field.
Yep.
Right, and we got to see some great Rocket League today.
Yeah, and right here, that offensive pressure just not allowing Stony Brook many opportunities. This is the final push here. Grape with a clear pretty much puts this game on ice. Popping the ball up in front of the goal. Tech just needs to let it drop, and this series is over. And it's going to happen. Michigan Tech opening the year with a 3-0 sweep over Stony Brook to put their record at 1-0 in Varsity Rocket League. That is exactly the start to the year that you want to see.
And I mean, we look at the saves. We look at the shots. This is a really solid team. They've really come into their own. They have a great coach, Brandon, who's been working with them all summer. And realistically, this is a great start to the year. Winning week 1, 3-0 sweep.
Absolutely.
Having great broadcasts. Jake is also a student, right?
Thank you.
Having great broadcasters in the booth, giving up their time to kind of shout out more student progress.
Of course.
And realistically, I mean, we couldn't hope for a better program and a better opening for this year.
Yeah. And this is something where the first game of the year, it's something where I think all the other rosters are going to be taking a peek to seeing, hey, is Rocket League doing good this year? When they see bang, 3-0 to start the year. That's like, oh, okay, we got to keep up now. We got to stick with these guys.
And you can't become complacent and fall asleep at the wheel, because there will be programs that'll really surprise you. And it's great to see that, Michigan Tech winning 3-0, sweeping Stony Brook.
Yeah.
Stony Brook, great opponent. They did a great job today.
Yeah.
And they should be very proud of the effort they put in, but it was just not enough.
Yeah, and they are a solid team. They had a bit of a rough stretch in spring of last year, but they were in a ridiculously good division for their Rocket League matchups last year. So their team is a lot better than their recent record looks, at least in the Playfly scene. But this is a really exciting start for the Huskies, who, against one of the teams that I think, they're not going to be like the team that everybody's looking at saying, oh, we got to be careful about Stony Brook. But they're still a really solid team. They're going to put up a fight against these top contenders.
And it's great that they're in our conference, right? It's great that we have such, I guess, determined teams that could really test what we've been doing in our off season.
Of course.
Yeah. And now we've kind of, we're 1-0, right? One step at a time. And it's going to be, like that. I follow soccer quite fluently, and I love to see that kind of, step-by-step progression that teams take either in Euro Cup or the World Cup to kind of get to the end.
And this is something where this is kind of similar to like a World Cup group stage if the groups were massive, but it is going to be a full round robin this year. So every team is going to play every other team in their division. So, starting off early, going 1-0, it's going to be an 8-game long season, potentially 9, depending on that whole Fisher situation, like we mentioned earlier. That first game's important. You only get so many chances to come back when you're down on that leaderboard. So starting off strong, getting this win, really big news for the Huskies.
And it'll be great to see how they progress right throughout this semester. It'd be really exciting for them to go to Texas because I know some of them really want to go, far away for a land, not just something local like maybe Minnesota or, lower Michigan. They really want to travel.
Yeah, the land experience, especially for these large-scale national ones, it's unlike anything else in esports, So getting that opportunity, especially in a collegiate scene, it's really exciting. And, getting a chance to make a name for yourself on the national scene it's amazing. So
thank you guys at home for watching. Thank you, Jake, for being here and commentating. We hope you have a great rest of your day. And I think this ends our broadcast for Rocket League.
It will end the broadcast for Rocket League, but at 8:30 we will be back with the Smash team. So we will see you guys. Not me, but somebody will see you here in a little bit.
And Smash, I forgot. Smash will be taking on UT Tyler.
UT Tyler, perfect. All right.
Right. So be here at 8:30 to see them. And I can't wait this year to watch. Luke's Diddy. Right, to see Ethan playing on Terry. It's going to be a great match.
Yeah, the entire Smash roster, the varsity and JV roster last year were incredible for Smash. So getting to see these players again back on our weekly streams because they spent last semester going for the GLIAC tournament. We didn't get to see the varsity roster last semester on stream. So getting to see everybody back, it's going to be really exciting news. So looking forward to that. I'll be sure to tune in. So hopefully we see some of you there. Back in a bit. Go Huskies.
Go Huskies.